Welcome students. So, now we are in the process of learning about the management of cash, the third important current asset. And in the last part of discussion in the previous class, we just initiated the discussion on the management of this particular current asset, where we learned about the cash flow into and out of the firm, how important it is, cash flow within the firm and cash balances held by the firm at a point of time. Now, to smoothen the cash management, the firm must, means I have written here that to smoothen the cash management, the firm must, what the firm must do, that is the firm must do something, and what the firm should do, evolve and establish a reliable forecasting and reporting system. Smooth management of cash, smoothen the management of cash, evolve and establish a reliable forecasting and reporting system. When you talk about the forecasting or the reporting system, this particular thing, forecasting, how we can forecast the requirement of cash or the availability of the cash. We have to know in advance, well in advance, that what is going to be the cash position over a period of time. I told you in the say previous class that we can use the concept of cash budgets. Cash budgets, maybe we can prepare the, say, depending upon the time horizon or the depending upon the precision we want in our cash forecasting. We will have to look at the time horizon. Normally we prepare the monthly cash budgets, some firm prepare fortnightly cash budgets, and the firm who are really efficient and who have the resources, who can afford to prepare, they prepare the weekly cash budgets. So, the minimum time horizon, the shortest time horizon is the weekly cash budgets. The firms must prepare the weekly cash budgets regularly, frequently, so that they know in advance that what is going to happen in the next 5 or 6 days, how much cash we are going to receive from the different quarters, and how much cash we are going to pay to the different claimants from where we have purchased on credit, and what is going to be the net position of the cash at the end of the week. When you prepare the weekly budgets, you prepare automatically, you calculate the daily cash balances, or at least if not daily cash balances, if the week and balance sheet is also going to be known to us, you can make out that in that particular week if we are falling short of cash, then we can arrange cash by borrowing it from different sources, either from the bank if we have the CC limit, or we can take the short term loan, or we can sell the marketable securities. If we have the surplus marketable securities, we can sell them, because selling of the marketable security and converting them into cash, that also requires some time. It is not that easy that okay, it's a saleable, it's a short term asset, very short term asset even. Still we have to find out a customer, we have to complete a process, and then only the security can be converted into cash. So, at least a day or two minimum it is required to convert the securities into the cash. So, we should be knowing in advance that what is going to happen with regard to the cash in the next 1 week, and do we need to arrange cash as we are going to have the short, where we are means having a situation of where we are short of cash, or we are going to have surplus of cash. Because if we are going to have surplus of cash, even then we should be carefully managing it. As I told you that keeping more than the required amount of cash is not good for any firm, any businesses. So, if we are saying that we are going to have surplus cash at the end of the week, so it means we should look for that where we can invest, or at the end of the week that surplus cash can be invested where. Because even today we have the say call deposits, for 24 hours we can deposit the surplus cash, you can earn something out of it, or maybe we can make investment in the intercorporate deposits. If you do not need the cash, surplus cash for 1 more week or 15 days or 1 month, we can invest into the some other firms who needs it. So, forecasting is most important, and forecasting is possible with the help of cash budgeting. So, if you prepare the efficient and useful cash budgets, then we are going to be very clear about the cash position in the next 1 week, or maybe the 15 days, or maximum a month. More than a month we should not prepare the cash budgets, because it is a short term current asset. So, maximum time horizon could be 1 month and minimum should be 1 week, and if we are knowing in advance the surplus or shortage of the cash, in case of the shortage we will be arranging the cash, and in case of the surplus we will be looking for forward for the avenues to invest the cash. So, automatically you can say that your cash management will be smoothened and it will be very effective, and we will not have any liquidity problem, any payment becoming due to be made and we do not have the cash for that, that situation will never arise. And if we are going to have surplus of the cash, then it is going to be a useful affair to know it in advance and look for the avenues where that surplus cash will be invested and minimum or the maximum return will be earned. Similarly, to improve and streamline the cash collection and the payment mechanism. Cash collection and the payment mechanism is very important. Many companies who are not serious in managing their cash or their say cash resources, they are failing to streamline the cash collection and the payment mechanisms. Say when we have to collect the cash, say these days to some extent we are using the online payments, online transfers and payments and receipts, but in many cases we are making the payment and receiving the payment through checks. Now the payer's responsibility is that he has to make sure that check reaches in the receiver's office, or the selling company receives a check from the paying company. Once that check is reached in the selling company's office, the responsibility of the payer is over. Now seller has to immediately send that check to the bank and bank has to collect it as early as possible. There are the you can say that there are the gaps, time gaps, delays, that we receive the check is lying in the drawer of the cashier and he will send that check to the bank maybe after 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, he is not bothered about. He feels that we have received the check, we have received the payment, but that is not the payment. We have not received the cash, we have not received the the amount, we have only received a document or maybe a one instrument. If that instrument has to be sent to the bank, so sending to the bank should not be delayed, we should be able to immediately receive the checks and send them to the bank. So quickly if we are able to do that, then certainly I think we are going to further improve the cash collection. And as far as the payment is concerned, firms normally what they do, they try to delay the payments not by not sending the checks, they will send the checks immediately and as and when it becomes due, and they also know it that their responsibility of making the payment is over, and that on the due date, maybe due date is say you can say that is 14th of March or 15th of March. So by 14th or latest by say evening of the 14th, if it is the 14th and or if it is 15th, then by the latest by the evening of 15th March, that check must be reaching in the receiver's office or the selling company's office, and then the paying company's job is over. Now for example, if the selling company who have received the check, they are also very active and immediately they send their check to the bank. Now that has to be seen that on which branch that check has to be, or on which branch of the paying company that check has been drawn. For example, you are making the payment to a company, say we have a company, there are two companies located, one is it in Delhi, another company is in say you can call it as Agra. One is in Delhi, another is in Agra. So it means a company who has made the payment to a company in Agra, they have sent the check, the company has received the check, and but that check is drawn on the Guwahati office of the company who is located in Delhi. And that is the pre-agreement between both buyer and seller that will make you the payment. You will receive the check on the due date, but all the payments will be drawn in favor of or maybe at our office at Guwahati. So it means what will happen when the check will be received by the firm who is located in Agra from the firm in Delhi. So check is coming from the Delhi, but that is drawn against the branch of the Delhi company based in Delhi, their branch in the Guwahati office or in the Guwahati. So that check when will be deposited by the company in Agra in their own bank, that check will be sent by the bank to Guwahati office, and from there the concurrence of the check has to be obtained and then only the payment can be transferred. So if this kind of the situation is there, then the paying company is very smart. They are on the one side issuing the check also, but that is being debited from the paying company's office after next 15 days. So it means they have say smartly managed, collection immediately they are receiving and collecting the checks, but in case of the payment they are only making sure that the check reaches the receiver's office, but as far as the payment transfer is concerned, that will take another 10 to 15 days period of time. So, that is known as, basically in the technical terms we call it as float, we call it as float. So, when you say that it is float, so what do we mean by float? We have the collection float, we have the disbursement float, and then we have to think about the other things. So, we call it as, what we call it as, it is float. Float means collection float, this is the collection float, this is a disbursement float. So, two floats are there. Collection float I am talking about, for example, when we receive the check, we immediately send to the bank, and that within 2 days the check is collected, means immediately when it is received today, it is sent to our bank in Delhi. We are located in Delhi, we received a check, immediately it goes to the bank within an hour, and within 2 days the check is collected by the bank on the behalf of this company. So, it means within 2 days the payment comes to the company's account. And in case of the disbursement, as I am saying, that a company who is located in Delhi, and if they are making the payment to a company in Agra, and that is against the company's Delhi's company's office in Guwahati. So, it will take how many 15 days for finally say making the payment, actually making the payment to the company in Agra. So, the company who is in Delhi, their account will be debited after 15 days. So, it means they have managed the disbursement float, and disbursement float is 15 days, collection float for their own payments is 2 days. So, there is something called as net float. This is called as net float, which is here, that is how much, 13 days. So, float management is very, very important in case of the cash management, but you see this all is not possible 15 days and writing the checks against the Guwahati branch, that is also not possible in the normal course. In that case, this only happens that when the buyer is, or maybe the supplier who is located in Agra, and they are supplying buyer, or the buyer is in Delhi, they are in Delhi and the supplier is in Agra. So, when the buyer is a very strong company, is in a very strong position, and supplier is also not in that very strong position. Supplier is depending for his supplies or making his supplies to the company who is buying it. As I was talking to you, that for example, you talk about the Maruti Suzuki or Suzuki India Limited, they are buying almost all inputs from the different end sellers, the small firms. They are not manufacturing the glass, they are not manufacturing the steel, they are not manufacturing the rubber, they are not manufacturing the tires. And in some cases the suppliers are big companies, in some cases the suppliers are small companies. But the small companies, they are supplying to Suzuki Motors for number of reasons. Number one is they are supplying to a highly secured and credit worthy customer, and entire production of that unit is being bought regularly by the Suzuki Motors. So, they have not to look for any other customer. So, it is a long term buying and selling contract between the supplier as well as between the Suzuki Motors Limited. So, supplier's interest is that I have got such a wonderful customer that my payment is secured, and if I am giving the credit, I am able to load that credit with the interest factor also, my payment is also secured, and I do not need to look for any other market anywhere around. So, no problem. If there are certain conditions which are not normal, if I have to accept some abnormal conditions also from my buyer or from my customer, I will go by that. So, that is only possible that Suzuki Motor may get, say, this agreement from the supplier in Agra that we will make you the payment on the due date, but that check will be drawn in favor of our branch in Guwahati. So, you have to accept that. So, in this case, supplier may agree that no problem, you give the check, we will wait for another 15 days, and finally the supplier also knows that my payment is secured, and he is having multiple other benefits from, say, having a relationship with this company. So, it means even I have to wait for another 10-15 days for getting my check collected, no problem, I accept that, because I am enjoying so many other advantages by dealing with Suzuki Motors or any other such credit worthy buyer. So, it is not normally possible. For example, if supplier and buyer, they are of the same wavelength, or maybe the same financial strength. It is not only the one party's requirement that they have to depend upon the other, both are both can reciprocate with each other. So, in that case the buyer cannot dictate the terms on supplier, and supplier would say that if you want to buy it on my terms, I will not receive any check which you are writing in favor of Guwahati office. We will be giving you this much credit period, we have to receive the check, you have to make us a payment on the due date, and the check should be in say written against a branch or account in our city only. We cannot accept any payment which is say in favor of the Guwahati office or any other office, that is not possible. So, it means depending upon the economic strengths of both the sides, credit worthiness of both the sides, if both can reciprocate with each other, then nobody will accept any kind of the abnormal terms. But if the supplier is weak and the buyer is very strong in the market, very credit worthy, in that case they can have this kind of the terms, and the supplier has to agree, because supplier is having the multifarious advantages by dealing with this kind of the bigger and the reputed buyers. So, it means this is a concept of float, which is a collection float, in how many days you collect your own payments, and disbursement float, in how many days your payment is made, actually your payment is made to your suppliers, and the difference between the collection float and the disbursement float is the net float. So, net float should be maximum. We should try to maximize the net float, so that by keeping a minimum balance of the cash in our bank account as cash, we can do maximum business. Because if we know that this payment is not going to be finally debited from our account in next 15 days. So, issuing a check of any amount today does not make any sense. Means if it is there, we have made the payment, we have sent the check, but only check is sent and payment will be debited after 15 days. So, it means we can keep on writing the same amount of checks to the other suppliers also for the next 14 days, because we know that the check we issue today, that will be presented to our bank after 15 days. So, not need to worry about, we can keep on writing the checks, knowing it how many days are taken by the receiving firm to get the checks collected. So, it means they can increase the transactions they can do by keeping a minimum balance in the cash, because nobody want to keep a maximum balance of cash in the bank account, because it is a current account and it does not any amount of interest, right. This is the second thing is, so to improve the and streamline the cash collection and the payment mechanism. So, cash collection means a collection float and the payment means a disbursement float. So, collection float should be minimum, payments disbursement or the payment float should be maximum, so that the net float is maximized. Then is the optimum savings and gainful investment of surplus cash. I was telling you in the previous class that if you look at the balance sheet of a public sector company, you will find that huge amount of cash, large amount of the cash is lying as cash in that balance sheet, which actually they don't require. But they do not know how costly or expensive this asset is, and it should be effectively managed, knowing it that how much cash is required by us actually, how much is available with us, and if there is any surplus cash available, that should be taken to the market and invested in the market. Now, for example, you have say you talk about the BHEL. BHEL has a 5 or 6 plants in the country, and at every plant location it is considered as an independent unit, and they are having their own plant level balance sheets, profit and loss accounts and other kind of the statements, and they are keeping cash at every plant location at the plant level. So, why not they do that, total their all balances, cash balances, as well as you cannot store inventory at Delhi office, at the corporate office, and then it will be used by the say Haridwar branch or Bhopal plant, but at least cash is such a thing that these days it can be transferred online. So, they should keep total cash at one place, means beyond a level that cash should be at one place. Normally the unit should make that their cash daily cash requirements at their plant level, and if there is any surplus amount left, that should be immediately transferred to the central office, to the corporate office, and from the corporate office, by knowing the requirements of the plants, if some surplus cash is available, that should be invested in the market. But nobody is worried about that, and nobody wants to make a proper investment of that cash, because their pains increase there, and they are not going to gain anything extra out of it. If they have a surplus cash, they have to calculate first of all how much extra cash is there with us or going to be there with us, where to invest, they have to look for the investment avenues, and then when the cash is required, they have to convert the marketable securities into the cash. So, who will take all these hassles? Whereas this kind of the culture is not there in the privately held companies. They know that this asset has a cost, so they go for the very clear cut forecasting system, budgetary process, cash budgets, weekly cash budgets. They estimate in advance that how much cash is required, how much is going to be available, and if any surplus cash is there, it should be invested in the market. So, it means we should learn while managing the cash properly. We should be knowing it that the optimum savings are important, and we should go for saving of the cash and gainfully investing it, or gainfully investing the surplus cash in the market. So, these three things, these 3 points can help us to say smoothen the cash management process apart from the other things. Now, rationale for holding the cash. See, you must have say seen elsewhere, as well as we have already discussed the inventory management. And when you talk about the management of the cash, we compare it sometimes with the management of inventory. Cash is as good as inventory of the raw material or the finished goods. There we are storing the inventory or the goods, here we are storing the cash. So, like inventory, the say holding cash also has the similar motives, or maybe little one may be different, but the other two are same. Say for example, to have the transaction balance or transaction motive, to make day to day payments and to ensure that firm is having sufficient liquidity for say transaction purpose, daily transaction purpose, weekly transaction purpose, we have to keep the cash, or we are keeping. So, we should keep only that much of the cash which is required and desired for fulfilling the transactional requirement, not more than that, and even not less than that. Precautionary balance, after transaction you can increase that, minimum is our this transaction level, and we have to keep little more than that as a precautionary balance, because if sometime our needs fluctuate, sometime more or sometime less, then we should keep not exactly as per our requirement, but little more than that to deal with any kind of the emergency, so that any payment which was not anticipated, if becomes due to be made, or sometime it may be possible that some of the firm who has supplied to us, their credit period is ending after 15 days, but somehow if they make us a request that please make us the payment because we need the cash today. So, sometime it is for our own precautionary purpose, and sometime to help our suppliers also, we have to keep the surplus cash so that the payment can be made as and when it is due. And then the speculative purpose, keeping more than the required amount of cash, sometime is done with the speculative purpose also. Speculative purpose means that you can invest that cash in the opportunities if some of the opportunities arise. Opportunities are like, for example, we are say agriculture based product manufacturing company, and our raw material is agriculture based. So, when the raw material is purchased by these companies, for example, you talk about ITC. ITC's most of the products are agriculture based. They are manufacturing flour, they are manufacturing even cigarettes, they are manufacturing so many other things, consumer products, and many of their products are based upon the agriculture inputs or agriculture material. So, when there is a harvest season, when the crop comes, you will have to buy at that time and store it. Normally there are the prices which are pre-decided or the market decides, but sometimes we feel that some raw material is available in the market at the damn cheap prices. So, if we have surplus cash and we invest it into, so tomorrow means when we will require the raw material for converting that into the finished product, we will get it at we will be requiring it certainly. So, if it is available at half the price, why not to buy it? So, for that speculative purposes we can do it like this. Or sometime what happens that we have made the or we have say got the supplies from some of the suppliers, and normally the credit period which the suppliers has allowed to the company, maybe any company ABC Limited, that is say normally it is 30 days, but just after 15 days the supplying company needs cash. So, they give a offer to the buying company that normally our credit period to you is 30 days, which is going to end up after another 20 days, because only 10 days are over, and after another 20 days you will be making the payment to us. But if you make the payment to us today, we will give you 2% cash discount. So, it is a very good opportunity, company should enjoy it. If they have surplus cash, why not to grab that opportunity and enjoy 2% discount and make the payment immediately. So, all these speculative purposes help the firm to gainfully invest the cash or to keep the cash for such type of the purposes where the cash is not required within the firm, but it can be very efficiently used to deal with the speculative purposes and to earn some unexpected or extra incomes on this surplus cash. Now, some other important aspects we will be talking about before moving to some cash management models. So, we are building the foundation about the cash management. So, we will be trying to know about some other important concepts, and these concepts are three. One is the cash versus profit, second is cash flow and the cash stock, and third one is the cash flow presentation. First one is cash versus profit. You see, there is difference between the cash and profit. When you prepare, what is the difference between the cash and profit? Say, when you prepare the profit and loss account, profit comes to us from where? It comes from the profit and loss account. If I make this statement in the T form, so here we talk about, we are taking here as the all expenses, here we are taking all incomes, and then we call it, this is the credit side, this is the debit side, and if this side is bigger than this side, so what is there? We have the difference here is to net profit before tax, and then is the tax part here, and then it is to net profit after tax, or sometimes we call it as NOPAT, net operating profit after tax, right. So, here when you are calculating the net profit before tax or the net profit after tax, so this is only profit. We are saying this is not the cash, this is only profit, because why I am saying that this is not in cash, certainly it can be in cash, but certainly it is not, say in all the cases it is not required to be in cash, because when you are taking the source of this profit is what? Here the upper part of the income statement, and here it is from the sales, by sales. And when you write the figure of sales here, less you have the manufacturing expenses like material, then is the labor, then the overheads, and then is the indirect expenses, right. So, when you are talking about the sales in the income statement or in the profit and loss account, we never mention that these sales are only cash. We say it is the total sales. Total sales can be cash sales plus credit sales, cash plus credit sales, total sales. So, it means when the sales are having the cash as well as the credit element, similarly the profit is also having cash and the credit element. Part of the, for example, this ratio is 50-50, 50% of the sales are on cash and 50% of the sales are on credit. This ratio is 50-50. It means out of this profit, say it is for 100 rupees, only 50 rupees profit is in cash. So, because 50 rupees profit is on the credit, we have not received that profit yet, so it is on the credit. So, when you are talking about the cash versus profit, understanding the cash management, we must be clear about that cash is real and the profit is nominal. Cash is real and profit is nominal. So, out of the profit, total profit, how much is the cash profit, that should be very clearly known to us, because when we are going to prepare the cash budgets, we are going to differentiate. Normally what happens these days, when you prepare the financial statements, earlier we were preparing two financial statements. First one was the income statement, and which is called as P&L account, also profit and loss account, and second was the balance sheet. We call it as balance sheet. So, these were the only two statements, but now we have introduced the third statement also, that has become the statutory statement, a compulsory statement, which is called as cash flow statement. Cash flow statement, which also has to be prepared along with these two. So, now the three statements are to be prepared by all the companies: income statement, that is the profit and loss account, balance sheet and the cash flow statement. These three statements are required to be prepared for all the companies. Why now we are having the income statement also and the cash flow statement also. Income statement is telling us what is the extent of profit, and cash flow statement is telling us what is the extent of cash profits. This is the difference. So, we should be knowing that out of the total profits, how much profits are the cash profits, and if we are going to have some cash profit, how to invest that profit in the market and how to deal with that profit efficiently, because if we are going to have some say surplus profit that is in cash. So, we have to find out the avenues where this cash can be invested, and if we are going to have the profit, but say largely the larger chunk of the profit, say 80% of the profit is nominal profit, because of the 80% of the sales being the credit sales, we know that now the cash profit is only 20%. So, understand first that in your firm how much cash is going to be available and related with the profits, but the profits first you calculate the profit figure and then prepare the cash flow statement. So, you will get to know how much is now the cash available, and then you start thinking of the management of the cash. So, this is the one important point which has to be borne in mind, that cash is the real profit, whereas the profit is, if it is only profit, then it is a nominal profit. So, we will have to be very clear out of the total profit how much profit is in cash, how much profit is non-cash, or it is a nominal profit. This is one important point. Then there are the two other points, cash flow and the cash stock and the cash flow presentation. They are also very important and interesting points, and we will discuss these points in the next class. Thank you very much.